Lots of different spots for lots of different tanks. It's not one of those maps where you get it and then you're thinking, oh, I can't do this map because I'm in so-and-so class. Like if you're in a light tank and you get Himmelsdorf, for example. There's not really much you can do on Himmelsdorf in a light tank, but with this map, there is lots of different opportunities for lots of different vehicle classes. So let's get started. So light tank spot number 1 I'm going to show you. Straight away you want to go over this side of the map. Just cross this river straight away as quickly as possible. Once you're crossed, you want to go into the city, or this little city bit here, and just try and keep your cover from the left hand side. If you get spotted before you try and do this, then chances are that you're going to die. You can go through here. These things are destroyable, so just keep that in mind. But what you want to do is just... this is the more active light tank position. You're going to probably get spotted round about there by these bushes here. Because there is always, near enough always, a light tank sitting here. EBRs, you're going to love this position. You can just run around, duck and dive. And just as long as you stay between these little ridge lines, or, you know, dips and dives in the hill, you're fine. Also, you can come all the way back to here, and you can actually get a spotting position right here, if you are lucky enough to do it. If you sit around about here, you can actually spot some vehicles that come up here. It's a bit of an unconventional space, and it does only really work for if the vehicles are coming up there, but you can also get a few spotting assistance damage from people that come up here. So this spot's actually kind of nice, and as you can tell, it is the bushy bush. So you can definitely see you're not really going to get spotted unless you've come across someone that is driving all the way up to you. So yeah, that's light tank spot number 1. Just around here, being a bit active, and then falling back to here once you're not spotted. Spot number 2. You're going to do roughly the same thing by going across here, but instead of going left and trying to spot there, we're going to go straight ahead. Now this spot is the more passive spot. This is for your tanks like the ELC Even 90. I like to set my Even 90 up with a camo net and binocs, and just absolutely insanely good view range and insanely good camo rating. And when you sit in this kind of location, you can just sit here and just spot everything. Just be careful when you do come up to this that you don't get spotted. But once you're here, as you can see, you can spot all of this ridge line. And yeah, I mean, that's the bush. These are the bushes where light tanks are probably going to sit. And you can even spot if they do come down from the hill slightly, although you're not going to see all the way up the hill. So from time to time, just peek out like this. You're going to get spotted, but you can then go back behind this rock for cover. So that spot's nice if you're in a tank that is got very good view range and good camo rating. So you can just sit in the bush and just basically just spot people. But yeah, that's sort of the best place to be if you want to be a passive scout. The next spot is a bit situational, but let's get into it. Okay, so this spot, as I said, it is a little bit situational. However, I wouldn't recommend doing this at the start, just because it's a bit too risky to do it at the start, and chances are you're not going to spot as much as if you went over here or up here. So that's why I say it is a little bit situational, because at the middle of the game this is useful. But what you want to do is just come up to here, sit in this bush for a second, and you're going to spot anyone that comes into this bush. Now there is a massive trees in the way, so you could alternatively just try and do a little bit of an active scouting role and just do this. Although I wouldn't really recommend it, because you need to be in a very fast tank to do it. EBRs can do this, but if you're in something that's quite slow or doesn't have such good specific power to weight ratio, and you're going to lose a lot of speed going up the hill, then don't do it, because you're just going to lose way too much speed, and then it's an easy shot for the enemies. Another thing that you can do is get into this bush here, and once you get into this bush, you can actually spot quite a bit. As long as there's no one sitting on this ridge line, then you're actually pretty safe. And the only other thing is obviously right there. You don't want to get spotted by anyone that's sitting over there, because as soon as they cross here, they're going to spot you, even if it's accidentally. So you want to make sure that your team owns the castle if you're going to do this. Or at least that you know that no one has entered the castle on the enemy team. So yeah, that's basically all the spots for light tanks for this side. Let's go and have a look on the other side. Okay, so this side of the map. Starting off, I'm going to show you this position right here. Now, this is good for an ELC even 90, for example. Something that's a bit passive. Not saying that the even 90 can't active scout. It's just I would prefer to actually just sit in a bush with the even 90 rather than trying to actively scout it. Now, you can sit in either this bush, which is, as you can see, it's okay. Or you can sit in this bush if you want to feel a little bit more risky. The only reason why this bush is a bit more risky is if you do get spotted, you've got a long way to go back before you can get out of cover. Before you can get into cover, sorry. Whereas if you're in this, you get spotted, you can just dive back down behind here, or even behind the rock, and you're pretty safe because your team should be shooting people that are around there. So, yeah. Another spot that you can use is actually these bushes here. So if you don't want to go here and try and spot anyone that's crossing over there, then maybe this is a better position for you. If you go here, you can actually spot anyone that's trying to get onto this hill here. As you can see with my line of sight, they'll come across here, up here, and as they come across there, you're going to spot them. So this spot's actually insanely good, and anyone that does get across, you're then going to spot again if they try to peek this hill. So this spot is insanely good for starting off, as well as that, because you'll spot any heavy tanks or anything else that tries to cross. Also, if the light tank does try to get into that position, then you'll spot him, as long as he does have worse-ish camo. If he doesn't have such good camo, then you'll spot him. But if he has insanely good camo, then you probably won't spot him. But yeah, that's the two spots here. You can also actively scout along this ridge line and just try and, you know, be a nuisance for the enemy and just try and run around like a madman. But yeah, that's mostly this side of the map. Now, I say that's mostly this side of the map because there's not really too many places over here that you can actually go. Besides going up the hill at the start, which is up this hill, there's not really anywhere else. This bit doesn't really have much place to go because it's mostly city, and you really don't want to be going back here with your light tank. It's not really worth it. There are a few places that you can go though. For example, you could go into this bush right here. You just need to be careful when you're going up to it, and also this is a tree. So, as you can see, look, don't knock that down unless you want to, because then it will kind of reveal where you are. But this spot's okay. You do need to be careful of if the enemy wins the castle and comes out, but if the enemy have got this far, then you shouldn't really be sitting here anyway. So yeah, this spot's okay. Again, it's not amazing. It's not as good as that spot right there, where you can actually spot everyone that comes up to the hill. So yeah, this spot's okay. Another spot is basically in the same bush that I showed you, but you're going to be obviously using it to your advantage on this side. So you could go into this bush here and try and spot anyone, or you could go into that bush there. So yeah, these two spots over here are okay. It's just I wouldn't really recommend them at the start of the game. So yeah, that is this side of the map for light tanks. Moving on to medium tanks. Now, I adore this map for medium tanks. I think it's probably one of the best maps for them, because you can basically go wherever you want. However, we are going to start with the castle. So to get to the castle, you're obviously just going to go to the left. And there's not really too much you need to worry about getting there. You can go and take the more safer route, which is around here and then up there. Or you could just go straight across if you have a faster tank. The only reason why you would go around here is if a light tank does come up to this position right here and tries to spot you. So obviously, as you can see, we're well out of the view range of anyone that's going to be sitting around here or around here. And that's why a lot of people will come around this side to go to the castle. Obviously, again, if you're in a faster tank, then you can just go straight up here. You don't really need to worry about this unless you're in... I mean, even if you're in a heavily armoured tank, you could go and probably just do that. You've got a few buildings right here that you can look after yourself with. But this is the more safer route. So once you get to the castle, you can actually go two different ways. You can go into the castle, or you could go down into this ridgeline down here. Now, first things first, I'm just going to show you the castle. There's not really too much you can, and you know, it's just a bit of a corridor. Like, you get to here and you'll see another enemy tank there, you might have a few shots on him, and then you fall back, and then you just keep peeking, whatnot. The only thing that you need to really be worried about is if you're about here. Because if you're here and someone is up there, then they could actually have shots on you. So that is why you need to be careful when you are at the castle on this higher ground. Use this rock for cover. And basically, this is a dead zone. If you sit here, you're almost guaranteeing yourself death at this point. So anywhere around here, all the way back to here, so this sort of area, if you're a low profile tank, then you're okay. But anywhere around here is almost certain death. You can go into the castle and then try and peek through here to have a little bit of view range. But again, I wouldn't just sit here because yes, you have a lot of view range, but I can almost guarantee you spot them, they'll spot you. Okay, so you need to be careful with that. But what about if you went down the little ravine area here? This actually offers a lot of cover. So if you don't want to go up to the castle, then you could just go down here. Now, you've got to be careful when you do go down here because of people that are trying to spot you. And yes, you're going to get spotted pretty much 90% of the time by doing that. But there is a rock here that you can cover yourself with. And then you can go into these sort of... well, I'm guessing this used to be a river. But you can go around here into this like ravine area and just keep peeking up and shooting people. Now, don't go alone on this, because if you go alone and someone else comes here, then chances are you're going to die, because as soon as you try and peek here, then you're going to get spotted by all of them. And yeah, I wouldn't really go alone, and be very wary when you are going down here, because it's very easy to think that this ravine area is clear, and then all of a sudden you have like 4 tanks in front of you, because you can't see anything until you get round this bit. And when you get round this bit, you could suddenly realise that there's 4 tanks and they're all pushing you. So you need to be very careful if you are going to push this. And yeah, you could easily die in this area. Another spot that's over here it's a bit more of a campy spot, and it's a spot that I like to fall back to if this side of the map has been lost. Now, where is it? Well, it's right over here. From here, you can actually have pretty decent camo. So you just go here, and as you can see, you can't see anything. This spot only works if you have someone that's actively spotting people here, because from here, you can then shoot people as they're coming down, and you don't really have any consequences. You can go and push forwards a little bit, but still, you're not going to see anything. It's one of those types of spots where you need to get rid of the bushes, or the trees, sorry, before you can actually spot people. So like here, for example, this is giving you pretty good camo, and anyone that comes across here, you can then spot. So this is a nice spot to fall back to if this side has been lost. Now, you can go over to this side in your medium tanks, which is what I'll show you now. Okay, so going over to the heavy side of the map. As I said, you can sort of go wherever you want in your medium tanks. That's why I love this map so much for it. You need to be careful when you go over here, for sure, but you can use this position as an assistance position. Don't go over here on your own. That's just suicide. But go over here if you do have a few heavy tanks that are going to be pushing up, and you can use them as kind of the meat shields, and you can just farm the damage. Now, as bad as that sounds, that's called supporting your team. Now, how you want to say it is up to you, but that's basically what happens. TDs can sit here as well, but for medium tanks it's actually quite nice because you have, you know, okay depression, then you can actually see both of these pretty easily, and then as soon as you need to reload, you just go back down behind here. So for auto loaders this works great, and you can just shoot anyone on that corner. You do need to be careful though. Obviously you need to watch 2 different angles at the same time, so don't peek up and then sit here for like half an hour looking and aiming, and then you're just going to get shot by about 4 different tanks. So you need to be careful when you are playing this, and once your heavy tanks die, get out of there, because if you're alone against anyone here, chances are you're going to die. So this spot works, but you need to be careful with it. This side of the map. So straight away for this side, I usually like to go straight up to the hill. Now why? Well, because I can get the initial spot on people usually. Now, especially for the Czechoslovakian autoloaders, these have a lot of view range. Now, if you go up into this bush right here, this is actually a pretty nice bush just to spot people. I wouldn't suggest a light tank going up here, and I didn't suggest a light tank going up here, because there's so many... you can go there. You know, why would you go here when you go there? It doesn't really make sense. But the initial spot, you see anyone that pops up here, you can get some shots on them, fall back, and then, you know, move around to here, and yeah, you're just playing this hill. You just want to play this hill and just, you know, you don't want to over push this a little bit. You want to maybe even knock down some of these trees so that you've got some cover from the castle. If you actually do that, you can knock down these trees, for example, and then once you knock these down, you can actually have some okay camo from the castle itself. So if you've lost the castle, you can then just pull back to maybe about here and just shoot anyone that's there. It's a nice position to be in, and the more trees that you knock down, obviously the more trees that you're going to have for camo. So as we know, when you knock down a tree, you're going to get camo from that tree, as long as it's on the floor, like so. So as soon as it becomes not opaque, like that, you're good to go. You can shoot through it and you shouldn't get spotted. So that's around here. That's basically how you would play this. You would just play the hill. Another spot is obviously the castle spot. You need to be careful when you go along here. I would suggest following the road because it's the fastest route. But always kind of go into the city here, the little village here. As if you go kind of directly, obviously you could die. So you need to be careful when you're coming across it. But it's the same thing. You come up to the castle, you have a little peek around, you know, you see what's there. If you actually spot people, then your team can actually try and punish them if they go into that dead zone, as I've said. But yeah, you come up here, you have a little spot. If it's clear, then you can push up and around. But if not, then you can come into here. Or if it is, you can come into here. And this is a lot more open than the other side. So if someone is in that bush, then you need to be really careful around here. Once you're in this position now, you're pretty safe. And you can have a decent fight in this little river area right here. Because you can shoot people, fall back. Shoot people, fall back. You know, just keep doing it. So this spot's nice, especially for medium tanks. Even heavy tanks can come here if they really want to. But yeah, this is basically everything on this side of the map. The only other side is obviously you'll go around here, which I'll show you now for the heavy tanks. Time for the heavy tanks. Now straight away with the heavy tanks, the main position you want to be is over here. You can go to the castle, which I've already shown, so if you feel like that's a suitable playstyle for your heavy tank, then you can go there. But for most of the heavy tanks, you should go over this side of the map and fight around this blimp that's fallen down. Or, fallen down, well, it's crashed. Like, quite clearly, it's more than just fallen down. Like, look at it. But anyway, that's besides the point. You go over here in your heavy tanks. So, this will offer you... You're not going to have loads of cover. You will have cover from, you know, over there and over here. However, you're not going to have so much cover when you're actually fighting people that are around here. So the first corner is this corner. Now, you've got to be careful when you do try and push this corner. If you are a faster heavy tank and you try and push this, then you could push around too far. And if you go to about this point, you could get shot by these people that are camping over here. These people that are coming up, or even light tanks and other things that are sitting around here. They could just easily shoot you. So if you do get here early, just wait a few minutes, a few seconds, and then wait until you see someone that's coming up. You can shoot them as they're pushing up and have a good battle around here. Hold down wise, there's nowhere really to go hold down apart from maybe here. So if you go over here and try and go hold down, yes, it does work, but you still do expose some of your hull. So you need to be careful as you are going hold down. This spot can work, but you just need to be careful of it. And if someone tries to push up there, then obviously they're going to have shots into the side of your turret, so you need to be careful of that as well. But overall, this spot's okay for hold down. So what about this spot here? Well, if you want to go to the left-hand side of the rock, let's call this the rock because it is. If you want to go to this bit, then yes, you can go here. You do need to be careful. People are going to be sitting around here, even at this rock. So just be careful about that. If you push this, you can actually get quite a good flanking position. So for example, say you've killed everyone on this side, you can then flank this and shoot people from here that are going to be around here. And you're pretty safe. The only thing that you do need to watch out for is down there. People win TDs and other stuff can be camping down there. Even medium tanks can camp down there, but I don't see the point of it. But yeah, so shooting around here, around there, anything that you really want, really. You can just flank this and just shoot people. But yeah, so it's exactly the same for this side. You would just obviously do the opposite. So you would have lots of positions here. There is a hold down location there, and you could go around there and try and flank people. The flanking position for this side though is not as good as this bit because you have this rock that's kind of covering you a little bit as you're pushing down here then to shoot people there. Whereas if you're trying to shoot people here, yes, you can go up here and try and shoot people that are a little bit hold down, because as you can see, if they're hold down for that position there, they're not going to be hold down for you here. So you can easily shoot their hull there. So yeah, okay, this position's alright, but if you're going to shoot people that are there, you don't really have any choice until you get to all the way out in the open here. Like, yeah, it's not good for flanking these people if there's people already here. So this spot can actually be a little bit more favourable to this side rather than that side, but at the same time, if you have TDs that are sitting over there, then yeah, you could easily see why that spot would be more favourable than this spot. So it's pretty balanced, this location here. Although, I mean, I've shown you everything. Maybe you don't agree with me, but yeah, that's about it for the heavy tanks. There's not really too much that I haven't already explained. Obviously, you could go to the castle. I've shown you that in the medium tanks. You could go there if you really want to in your faster heavy tanks. And now finally, the TDs. First position I'm going to show you. It's similar to the one over here, where you can support your heavy tanks, but it's just a little bit further back. So yes, you can go to that position that I showed you in the medium tanks, up over there, but you can also go and kind of just sit in these bushes. Now this is more for when you lose this side, but you still want to be able to shoot people as they're coming down. So you can sit in this bush here, or just anywhere really around here. I'm just going to show you this just for simplicity. You sit in this bush, you can shoot people that are coming down. As long as you have someone that's going to spot people that you can see. I mean, as you can see, it's okay for view range wise, but it's obviously going to be even better if someone does manage to spot them. Another position is over to the right hand side over here. You can provide yourself with lots of cover, as well as okay positions for shooting. Don't go here because it's way too open. You can want to go into here because this position here, you can actually go all the way up to the back. Now, as I'll show you now, you obviously need a little bit of a faster tank to try and do it, but you can get away with it. As you can see, you can go here, right next to the red line, but no one's really going to be... Well, not many people look this far back, and if they have all come past you, I mean, if you're in a Scorpion G, and you could sit here with your camo net and just watch people go past you. Now, once they've all gone past you, you can then try and get a flanking ambush, and you can then shoot them. Or alternatively, you know, you could just sit in one of these bushes, which isn't the best, but this is probably one of the best spots, well, around here, to actually counter people that are coming through there. As you can see, if you come here, you've actually got good enough eyes for people that are around here. I mean, obviously you can't see right now because of the trees in the way, but you can see everyone that comes through here. So this spot is actually really nice for supporting your heavy tanks. So yeah, that's this bit of the map sort of covered for TDs. Okay, so this side of the map now, or around here, I would suggest actually going into here maybe, if you really want to, because if you go into this position there, then you can actually shoot across to people that are crossing over to there. Now, it's exactly the same as the position that I said, if this side loses, then you fall back to here. You could just go there straight away. So, if you want to skip back to that bit in the video, you just go there, and you can actually shoot across to people over there. Now, another position is over this way. Now, this position is way too campy for me, personally, but for some people this can work. It's just anywhere around here that has a bush, basically, and you can then shoot anyone that is going to come up onto this hill, or anyone that is going to be pushing down from this hill up to there. As you can see, you don't have the best render range because you can only just see into the castle, but you can also use that to your advantage. So, for example, you could sit out in the open, for example, and shoot anyone that's there because they won't spot you. It's a valid opportunity to do so. The other thing is that people like to sit up here. The only downside is if they push the castle too much, then you're going to get spotted. See, if they push about halfway, well, just past that little bit there, then you're obviously going to be spotted. But again, this is a nice position to assist people that are going into the castle. So, yeah, this spot is way too campy for me around here. I'd rather go up here because you're almost guaranteed some hits on people here. You know, if I was going to start on this side of the map, I would probably go and start here and try and shoot people. And then if that wasn't working and our team is still trying to hold this, I'll then move around to here and try and shoot across. So yeah. That's basically it for this side of the map for TDs. Right, so this side of the map. You can go up to the hill, as I've already shown in the medium tanks. The other position that I really want to show is over here. Now, you can also fall back to this position if all else is lost. This is like the sort of last stand position. So for medium tanks, heavy tanks, whatever, if you're still alive, come back to this position because over here, you can actually get some decent cover and also shoot people. So you can come all the way up here, and I mean, you're going to need a better TD than this for gun depression wise, but you can shoot basically anyone that's coming around here. There's lots of different spots that you can sit in. It's not just limited to that one. Like, for example, you can sit there, you can sit in this bush here, but basically everywhere around here you can use as a final stand. And you'll see lots of people that are already sitting around here. Don't sit here right at the start of the game. There's not really any point. The only place that you can sit at the start of the game is, I would say, around here. Now, this position right here is actually a hell of a lot better than the one over there, because it's a little bit higher up. So you can actually see a lot more. And, I mean, people are going to come through here, and then they'll only get to maybe this bit. So you're not even going to get spotted if they do come through there. So it's kind of, this spot's really nice for supporting castle, and you can then just peek out. You can still shoot the middle. This spot is nice for TDs. Yeah, sure, it's very campy, but I mean, what do you expect in TDs? Unless you're in a 268 version 4, or you know, one of those type of heavily armored tanks like the Tortoise, for example, you're not really going to be, you know, progressing up through the flanks. You're going to be wanting to sit back. This is the sniping class, you know, it's going to be campy. But yeah, so that's basically it for this side. You can go up to the hill, you can go over there. Let's move on over to this side of the map. Okay, so over here, there's a few spots that you can sit in. Number one is over in this little corner bit here. So what you do, you just come over to here, and you can go and knock these trees down, which I would thoroughly recommend. You knock all of these trees down, and then you have nice spots onto anyone over there that is going to be pushed around that corner. So this is probably one of the best spots to sit in your TDs if you want to watch this side of the map. You can easily run away back to this location, as I said, for your kind of last stand, and still, you know, you're going to get the most out of your TD by sitting in this position. You need to be aware that you can easily get spotted if someone does come through here, for example, and you shoot. So if someone's trying to flank your team, like in that position that I showed you, then you're going to be spotted more or less, you know, like 60-70% of the time, depending on your camo, obviously. So you need to watch out for that. But you can always just go back a little bit, and if you have enough camo rating, very rude to spot me, but if you have enough camo rating, then, or sorry, gun depression even, then you can actually shoot over there and your tree will kind of cover you. So UDES STRVs, sit over here, you're just laughing because you can't even get spotted as long as these trees are knocked down and they're in your actual way. You're having a good time. So yeah, this spot's nice. The next spot is, if you carry on going, you can actually go down to this kind of river area. Now, it used to be that you could actually get on top of this, and I kind of missed the days where you used to be able to climb. I would try and climb up this as much as possible, and coming up here with your T67, oh, those were the days. But no, so over here, again, there's lots and lots of bushes, and you can easily shoot people as they're coming through. You don't really need to worry about it too much. I mean, I wouldn't suggest coming down here. Honestly, it's kind of... If you've lost this and you're in a heavy tank, then come down to here, maybe. Again, TDs, it does work, but you need to be careful because you've got nowhere to go. And as soon as you get spotted, you're just dead, because where are you going to go? You're going to go up that hill again. So your only escape route is up there. And for TDs, the main thing that you want to be looking at is escape routes. Because if you get spotted, then what are you going to do? You need a way out of that area if you get overrun, or if you know that you're going to get overrun. So you need to watch out for escape routes and places that you're going to get spotted easily. Now, it's pretty hard to get spotted here if you know what you're doing and you know how camo works. You just go and shoot. You peek, you scout, you pull back, bush becomes solid, you shoot. You do the same. You peek, bush becomes opaque, you spot the enemy, you pull back, bush becomes solid, you shoot. That's the basic how camo works in this game. And you won't get spotted for it. However, if someone does spot you, then you've got a hell of an issue, because anyone that's coming down here is going to be then focused on you. And yeah, so that's why I don't really recommend this spot for TDs. But I mean, if you've got kind of nowhere else to go, then sure, but why would you not just go here? This is the main spot that I would say to go for TDs. You can also go onto this corner bit here and just stay there. Also around here where the scout I showed you. So yeah, there's lots of positions on Redshire that you can actually go to. So if you did enjoy this video, then feel free to join the Discord, subscribe, like. But yeah, the Discord, I'm always online. You can come and ask me whatever you want. Can even platoon sometimes if you want to. I don't mind. But yeah, feel free to join that. Follow me on Twitch. I stream there now and again. I mean, you just got to follow me to know when I go live. I try and stream there as much as I can. But yeah, if you ever want to have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitch or Discord, whatever. And I'll see you in a bit.